Let's talk about Dry Tortugas National Park. This is probably National Park number 25 or so that my wife and I have visited. It is one that I was not sure we would ever get to because of its location. It's 70 miles west of Key West. So if you're familiar with Key West, it's at 2 hours south of Miami through the Keys, and that's the very last key, and then the Dry Tortugas is 70 miles west of that. So given the location, I didn't think we'd ever get there. But my daughter and son-in-law and their kids were going on a national park trip to Dry Tortugas, and we asked if we could go along and join them. So we spent a few days in Miami. We visited Everglades National Park and Key Biscayne National Park, and then we went to Key West and to Dry Tortugas. So Dry Tortugas, how do you get there? Well, jumping off point obviously is Key West, and it's, as I said, 2 hours west of Key West. You take a boat. The National Park Service runs a boat every day, leaves in the morning from Key West. It's a 2-hour boat ride. That boat is moving. I got to tell you, it's 35 miles an hour, and you get to Dry Tortugas after 2 hours. You have about 3 hours on the at the park on the island, and you get on the boat and ride back. They have snacks and things on the boat, and it's a very nice, pleasant boat ride. What's special about Dry Tortugas? Well, my understanding it is the last of the island chain that starts at Key Biscayne, and was a marking point. They call it Dry Tortugas because there is no source of fresh water on the island, and it is one small island on which was built a massive brick fort, and it used to protect the approach into the Gulf of Mexico. And it's as I say, it's remote. It's a very it's a nice place to visit. It's a good way to spend a day. The boat ride is not cheap. I think it was, I'll have to check the price. I think it was a couple $100. But and you have to reserve way in advance because the boat rides sell out. And you can also take a plane. That's obviously a much more expensive option. Take a float plane out, and it's quicker, and you land at Dry Tortugas and spend the day there. You can camp on Dry Tortugas. They let a few people camp at a time. But again, there are no services. Everything you pack in has to be packed out. So that was not an option we chose with the kids. We went in September. It was beautiful weather. It was warm. We got to explore the fort. Basically, the fort takes up, I would say, 80-90% of the island. So, and you have the ruins of the fort. You can walk around the fort. You can tour that. There's a ranger that'll give a walking tour. You can see some of the sites. You can walk all around and see where the soldiers lived, where they stored the munitions. Fort was never attacked, never surrendered. But it's really a spectacular visit, a beautiful way to spend a day, and we enjoyed ourselves tremendously. We're glad that we were able to check it off our list. It's definitely worth a day's visit if you're in that area, especially. I don't know that you would want to make a special trip just to see Dry Tortugas, but it's great to combine with a trip to Key West, which is a fascinating, fun place. While in Key West, we visited the Ernest Hemingway house. We saw the six-toed cats. We visited the southernmost point in the continental United States. Saw some museums, and Key West is just a fun town with great food and great party vibe and atmosphere. So if you're down in Key West and want to spend a day on a beautiful boat ride and a day at the national park, definitely worth your time and effort. And again, most of the activities there, once you get to the land at the fort, you're gonna have a walking, you have a short tour, a speech by the park ranger, and then you're gonna get to walk around on your own for a couple of hours, and then we snorkeled, we swam, beautiful waters, and that's all very easily done, and it's not very crowded. Basically the all the people that were on the island were the people that we rode over on the boat with. So maybe, a few dozen people, I think maybe, 50 people or so, I don't know, but it was not at all crowded, not like a lot of national parks you go to. But anyhow, Dry Tortugas, definitely worth the visit. And I would encourage you, especially if you like the national parks and you're in that area, make the effort to try to get a boat ticket reservation and make the trip out to Dry Tortugas. You won't be disappointed.